See, a lot of people don't understand the importance of their Experian business credit file. Okay, now I told you all that there's some secret scoring that a lot of people are even not aware of. Okay, when it comes to getting funding, and so I'm going to actually break down some of the banks that you should start with if you're trying to build up your Experian credit file, because your Experian credit file is the one that most financial institutions pull, okay, when it comes to credit cards. However, when it comes to like loans and stuff like that, especially business loans, business lines of credit, lenders look at a different scoring model, okay? And no, it's not done in Bradstreet. This is the reason why I continue to tell people they worry about having a Dun and Bradstreet file. They worry about having a Paydex score, things of that nature. But you do not have to have those things to get qualified for business funding. And if anybody that's actually listening, put in a comment, have you ever noticed that when you go to a bank and you apply for a business credit card, business loan, or a business line of credit, they never ask you what's on your Dun and Bradstreet file, okay? And there's a specific reason for that. However, I'm going to explain to you in terms of what do they look for, all right, especially when it comes to your Experian business credit file. All right, now the first bank is with PNC Bank. Okay, now with PNC Bank, sometimes they can be geo restricted, meaning that everybody can't join. However, there is a hack, all right? And so this is the hack if you want to join PNC. They pull Experian FICO 9, and so it's a low-hanging fruit. This is the situation with PNC. If you do not have a PNC in the state or the region you're in, what you can do, you can have a registered agent, okay, set you up in a state that actually does, and then you can use that to actually open up a bank account with PNC. All right, so that's one little hack that can help you if you want to really join PNC. Like I said, they use Experian FICO 9, which is a low-hanging fruit. Now, here's another one, and to be able to get funding without any revenue. That's another thing. Being able to find lenders, even though you don't have any revenue in the business, you still can get qualified. And the minimum credit score for a lot of these lenders isn't your 700 credit score. Most of these lenders, if you already have a relationship with them, they'll work with you even with a 660 credit score. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, here's the reason why I was telling you about the lending aspect of when it comes to loans and lines of credit, because with certain institutions, they would use a FICO scoring. It's your SSBC FICO score. Okay, that's your business credit score on the FICO side. All right, or they may use PayNet. Now with PayNet, it gives you a score to tell what is the likelihood of your business not only paying back a loan, but it also tells in terms of your business actually filing bankruptcy for having too much debt. You may be late on payments and stuff. That's the reason I tell you these are the type of things that are more important than Dun and Bradstreet, okay, and a Paydex score. All right. That being said, the next one you want to look at is Navy Federal. Okay, so with Navy Federal on the business side, they use Experian FICO 9. Now, of course, with Navy Federal, we all know that you have to have 2 scores in order to get a business loan and a business credit card with them, right? And so that means that your internal score has to be above 300. And so that means that you have to have it's preferred that you have a direct deposit, pledge loan, savings account. You can have a starter CD and then have a business bank account. Now, with that business bank account, please keep in mind, if you have a high risk NAICS code, then Navy Federal won't even open up the business, okay? So they go off of whatever SBA says, Small Business Association says, Small Business Administration says, right? And so what that means is that if Small Business Administration said, okay, these are high-risk type of businesses, then those are the same guidelines that Navy Federal uses to decide if they're going to give you a business credit card and a business loan. All right. Now, the minimum score with Navy Federal, again, this could be a 660, but no revenue in the business. Now, I would tell you, if they do decide to open up the business account, I would not apply for any credit with them for at least 60 days, right? So when you open up the business account, I would make deposits first, right? So they can see deposits going on and stuff. Now, you don't necessarily have to, but if I were you, I would actually do it, all right? Now, you have another company out there, which is Corpay. Now, with Corpay, they are on a net 21, but they will give you a credit card with a 600 credit score. Now, they're going to pull your Experian FICO 8, all right? Now, something recently happened with Corpay. They just been sold off to a bigger company, okay? So their underwriting may be changing soon, so just keep a heads up for that one. Now, you also have First National Bank of Omaha. They use Experian FICO 9. Now, the reason that I'm pointing out these institutions is because they are low-hanging fruit, meaning that you can have the authorized users, you can have utilities, you can have rental payments, right? And you can have subscriptions. So that's the reason I'm trying to point out the easiest Experian bank accounts that you should have in order to get business funding. All right. So that's the reason why I'm choosing these. Now, you have NASA. Okay. So with NASA, they have a business credit card. Now, NASA definitely is geo-restricted. However, they use a Vantage 4, Experian Vantage 4 in order to qualify you. Okay, but that is an option for you. Now, they're geo-restricted on the business side. On the personal side, anybody can get a business credit card with pre-approval. So that's the good part about that. Now, you also have State Department Federal Credit Union. Now, with the State Department Federal Credit Union, they use a mortgage score, Experian Mortgage Score 2. Now, this is interesting because a lot of people have never seen what's their mortgage score look like, meaning they don't know what score that is, right? And so that's the reason why when I tell you to check the links in the description is so you can see your real credit report, and that way you can actually know what's on your mortgage score. See, when you go to annual credit report, they're not going to tell you what your mortgage score is. So that's the reason why I tell people you're missing out on money, because all institutions don't use the same scoring system. So you're missing out on money because you don't know what your mortgage score is, and you don't know which institutions that would use a mortgage score. Okay, so that's the reason why I tell you, you really should check them out. Now, with TD Bank, they use Experian as well. All right. Now, my other favorite is Wells Fargo. Okay, so Wells Fargo uses Experian FICO 9. Now, here's the thing about it with Wells Fargo that I really like. With Wells Fargo, they're going to give you convenience checks. Okay, and so what that means is that the credit card that they offer is the Simplify card, right? And so with this here card, they'll give you 0% interest for 12 months. On top of that, they would actually give you convenience checks, so you can transfer the money from that credit card and it will not drop your credit score, and you can deposit money into your business bank account so that you can invest into whatever type of business you want, right? Also, I would say give it 6 to 9 months. Then you also may qualify for their line of credit. Now, their line of credit, you want to make sure you get the advantage. And the reason is because they offer two types of line of credit. You want the one that goes only up to 50,000. Now the reason why is because you don't necessarily have to have any revenue in the business, and all you have to have is a 680 credit score. So that's the reason why I tell you guys, it's just certain institutions that I think is more favorable than others. Then you also have Ally Bank. Now, a lot of small business owners and stuff, the reason they like Ally Bank, because you can easily get cars and stuff like that for your business. All right. And again, you don't have to have any revenue in the business. All right. So that's the reason why. Now, I know some of you all were thinking about what about the majors. Now, here's the thing about it with the majors so you understand. All right. So with the major banks like American Express, they use a FICO 8 scoring system. One of the good things about it with American Express, okay, if you're brand new, they may pull your Experian and your TransUnion, okay? However, once you get your first credit card with them, now, this is interesting about American Express that people don't understand. They said, well, you can have as many credit cards with American Express as you want. That's not true. Let me break it down to you, okay? Now, when it comes to revolving cards, they'll let you have up to 5. When it comes to charge cards, you can have as many. All right. So they won't continue to do a hard pull on your credit card. They use internal scoring. Now, here's the thing about it. If you have a checking account or a savings account with them, what they will do, they will count that against you. So instead of you getting those 5 revolving credit cards, you can only get 4 because they do count that checking account or that savings account against you as well. Now, also in terms of once you have a business credit card with American Express over a year, then what they will do, they will start offering you their business line of credit with no credit check or their business loan. All right. So just giving you some insight in terms of what are some of the best credit unions to help you build up your Experian file. Like I said, because this here file is like one of the major files. Most of your financial institutions, they're going to look at that Experian file, all right? So if you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.